All right, music fans, welcome back to Harmless Dave. That would be me and the real music observer observing real music in real time for a few real people out there just like you, just like me. All right, kind of a screwed up intro, but I'm just going to go with it. Here's Chimera. This is really good stuff. It's called Hold Your Ground. Came out a couple of months ago, and it's kind of like Def Leppard meets Journey. I like a lot of stuff that sounds like this, so that's why I am featuring it. Two guys in that project, great musicians, Dennis Ward and keyboardist Eric Rainio, who could kind of do anything that Jonathan Cain can do. Yeah, that's the way I look at Eric. He's a journeyman keyboardist, and he's great. So check out Chimera. The music's not boring. You'll pay attention. You know who's not boring is Ted Nugent, ladies and gentlemen. And Ted is retiring from the road. Holy crap, Batman. He says, this is my last tour. He says, I'll always make music. I got new records I'm going to make. He says, I want to unleash some of these songs. He says, I've got an instrumental called Butterfingers that you have to hear while you're eating brisket at the barbecue. Ted Nugent is just... I talked to Ted Nugent one time, and really hard to keep up with the man's energy. All right, he's older than me. He acts like a guy like 20 years younger than me. Anyway, he goes, the point is the American dream has a soundtrack. And with my unbelievable musicians for 65 years, I have created the most fun, titillating, centrally stimulating soundtrack in the history of the world. Yeah, so his tour is going to be called Adios Mofo 23. Ted said in a statement, performing my killer songs with this killer band for these killer music-loving audiences every night is an indescribable joy. I wish Ted would learn how to use superlatives. Come on, Ted, throw some words in there. Every song has a life of its own, and the spirit and energy of each night is off the charts, stimulating on all human levels and beyond. He added, "My, this is fun. It's like bizarre poetry. My amazing American dream sure as hell ain't over, and no way can I ever see it from here. However, my fiery vapor trail of flame-throwing all-American R&B and rock and roll has been so much damn fun I can't hardly believe it. I will write the book. But for now, it's Adios Mofo 23. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all." And so then the cut and pasters come in and they tell us about, his debut album went double platinum, and then he had some other successful moments. Reportedly, Ted Nugent has sold over 40 million albums. Yeah, that's not bad. He was named Detroit's greatest guitar player of all time by readers of M Live. And here's where it gets interesting, okay? The conservative rocker, I would just say the common sense rocker, because I don't know anymore. Conservative is what? That you don't want to drink Bud Light? Is that conservative? I would consider it normal for people not to want to drink Bud Light at this phase. And it's a great euphemism for everything that's going on. Or if you don't endorse Nike products, but we'll just go with the Bud Light, because that's why the whole Bud Light thing is kind of working, because people walk into a bar and they're like, not Bud Light. No, I don't want the Bud Light. Give me something else. Anyway, this cut and paste moment here is brought to you by the rock media. The conservative rocker who has been eligible for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a solo artist since 2000 has enjoyed a remarkably, surprising almost, successful and eventful musical career over the past 5 decades. But his music is increasingly overshadowed by his political outbursts. You know what that is? That's a shot across the bow. Could have been written from somebody at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Hey, Ted, this political stuff that you do, yeah, this is why you're not in the Hall of Fame. There it is, right there, basically spelled out. This is why Ted Nugent isn't in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And what? There haven't been other artists inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame who haven't had their share of political outbursts? Pink Floyd, right? They're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Roger Waters being a member. I mean, who does more? Well, I would say it's probably a tie between Ted and Roger as far as the political outbursting goes. But it's the wrong political outbursting. That's the problem. It's not the fact that Ted Nugent has opinions. And by the way, just reading this, it's like the guy has a mastery over the English language like few people in the world today. And it's fun to listen to Ted Nugent talk because he's going to say stuff and you're going to just like, whoa. I mean, that's in his brain. He's 74 years old. You know, that's a guy with real cognitive skills. Maybe we should start printing up the Ted Nugent for President shirts. Yeah, I would get a Ted Nugent for President shirt. Ted, if you're listening, buddy, you want to come on the show and, you know, we could launch the Ted Nugent for President thing. Look, I know Ted's a Trump guy. I understand why, but I'm just wondering, is there a better candidate maybe out there? But the bottom line here is that the reason Ted Nugent, I'm just going to say the real reason Ted Nugent isn't in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is his wrong political outbursts. You know, if he was outbursting and saying, yeah, it was like the Howard Stern critique of the whole Bud Light controversy. If he had said something like that, he would be endearing to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But he's been doing this for like pretty much his whole career. You know, I didn't realize how conservative or common sense, what does he say? Logic, common sense. He's got a slogan and he sticks with it, but it's common sense, logic, and, you know, guns and meat eating. I mean, Ted is he's a Renaissance man, whether they like him or not. He's one of those guys. Very unique character. And, you know, folks, we're losing the characters because we're not reproducing the same quality of people. And I mean that sincerely. I mean, the entertainment industry growing up in the 70s. I mean, shows like All in the Family and Sanford and Son. I mean, that's gone. I mean, and I'm not just the old geezer saying this. It's just that nobody has character and nobody is a colorful personality like in those days. Very few. I mean, you may be able to point a couple out to me, but I mean, you made a name for yourself in those days by being an individual, being unique, saying and doing things that nobody else was saying and doing. And Ted Nugent is one of those people. So based on his guitar playing and his catalog, I would say, yeah, Nuge should be in there. There should be, and I'll be honest, there are a few others. I mean, this band over here, at some point, I'm going to be doing a video specifically about them. And the reason I'm going to do another video specifically about them, because it's outrageous that a band that started basically during the Summer of Love, right, is not in the Hall of Fame. This is a 2-disc set, by the way. And I mean, the influence of their music, anyway, again, I'll save it for the video. But yeah, there are maybe a few other people I think that should get in there before Ted. But Ted should be, especially based on the nominees, right? The current crop of nominees, some of whom aren't rock and roll at all. And we're just going to, you know, sort of walk past people like Ted Nugent and not even consider Ted for the Hall of Fame. It's interesting that the article brought this up. You know, his music is overshadowed by his political outbursts. All right. Well, how many other political outbursts are there from people who've already been inducted into the Hall of Fame and may have been inducted into the Hall of Fame because of their political outbursting? I don't know. Anyway, folks, that's the video. Thanks for watching. One more time on Chimera. Here it is. Hold your ground. It's kind of a phrase that Ted Nugent would likely use. Hold your ground. stand your ground. We're living in strange times, folks. And guess what? I'm not drinking Bud Light anymore. Just like Ted and Kid Rock and Travis Tritt. All right, I'm done.